Okay. Let's see. So, hello everyone, good evening. I hope I'm audible to online people also. Okay. So, hoping that everything is going good with the technical things. So, let us start the discussion. So, today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 20th of September 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we have included a mapping topic and we have included many topics which are important for the mains exam, and we have also included some topics which are important for the prelims exam. So with this, let us first look into the list of topics that we are going to cover in today's discussion. So we are going to cover the Red Sea as a mapping topic for the prelims exam, and we are going to cover these topics one by one. So name of the topics and their relevance and page number is mentioned here. So let's start the discussion of the first topic. This topic is a mapping topic which is going to be important for the prelims exam. Okay, so it is important for UPSC prelims examination. So this topic is important. So we are going to map a particular sea which is known as Red Sea. So this is the Red Sea. So first of all, to understand where is Red Sea located, we need to see this world map. So in this map, what we have done is we have located the oceans and seas, and the continents are marked in blue color. Okay, so wherever we see white color, so that is ocean, and blue color is continent over here, according to this map only. So here we see that Red Sea is located here. Okay, Red Sea is located here. So this is Red Sea. So to the west side of Red Sea we have Africa. To the east side of Red Sea we have, let's say, Asia. Okay, Asia. So what it is doing, Red Sea is bifurcating. Okay, it is dividing Asia and Africa, like that. So Red Sea is a part of Great Rift Valley. Okay, it is part of Great Rift Valley. So this is one information. Apart from this, we also need to locate how many countries are surrounding the Red Sea. Means which countries share their coastal border with the Red Sea. We need to locate that one. So here, see, this is Red Sea, and around Red Sea we have many countries. One of the country is Egypt. Okay, Egypt is the first country that has a coastal border with Red Sea. Then the second country is Sudan. Okay, this is Sudan. This also has a border with Red Sea. Then the third country is Eritrea. Okay, third country is Eritrea. It has border with Red Sea. Then we have Yemen as the fourth country. Okay, Yemen, fourth country. Then we have fifth country as Saudi Arabia. So are we seeing that these countries are sharing border with, means maritime border, or we can say coastal boundary with the Red Sea? How many countries have been located so far? We have located Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, Yemen, Saudi Arabia. So if we go anti-clockwise, right? If we go anti-clockwise, we come across these five countries. These five countries are sharing border with Red Sea. Apart from this, now we need to see that there are some extended portion of Red Sea. Okay, so this is, this is known as Gulf of Aden. Okay, so this is extension portion to the, let's say, southern part. So this Gulf of Aden goes to, okay, so it goes to, let's say, connect with the Indian Ocean. Okay, so Red Sea below this, we have Indian Ocean over here. Yes, sir. Okay, so that's why Red Sea can be considered as an inlet of Indian Ocean. And apart from this, if we go a little towards north of the Red Sea, so we see, let's say, two type of Gulf. Okay, one of them is known as Gulf of Suez. This is known as Gulf of Suez over here. And over here we have what? We have Gulf of Aqaba. Okay, so here we have Gulf of Suez, and here we have Gulf of Aqaba. Aqaba. Okay, this is Gulf of Aqaba, and this is a peninsular region, and this peninsular region is known as Sinai Peninsula. Okay, it is known as Sinai Peninsula. Okay, it is known as Sinai Peninsula. And then from Gulf of Suez to the Mediterranean Sea, there is an opening, there is a man-made channel. Okay, there is a man-made channel This is known as Suez Canal. Okay, this is known as Suez Canal. So this Suez Canal is a man-made canal, and that has been made by human beings so that ships can pass through it. Okay, so it is one of the longest man-made channel, and that connects, let's say, different seas. Let's say it connects with the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, and it allows international let's say that to happen, like international let's say trade can happen through sea routes. So this location, I mean Red Sea, is very important. Suez Canal is one of the most important and most busiest canal in the world. Then we have Gulf of Suez, Gulf of Aqaba. Now if we consider this Gulf of Suez, Gulf of Aqaba to be part of Red Sea, in that case we can have more countries also over here. However, officially these countries are considered to be the countries that share what? Borders or maritime border with the Red Sea. So we are going to see one more map over here. Okay, we are going to see one more map of Red Sea to be sure, right, about these things. Okay, so here Yemen, yes, Yemen was also one of the country. Then Djibouti is a country which is there. Okay, just a minute. So over here we have Djibouti. This small portion is Djibouti. So that also shares border with Red Sea. So in all there are 6 countries. Once again, let's see. This is Red Sea. This is Egypt, one of the country. Second country is Sudan. Third country is Eritrea. Fourth country is Djibouti. Fifth country is Yemen. And sixth country is Saudi Arabia. Okay, these are the countries that share border with Red Sea. This is Gulf of Aqaba. Over here, Gulf of Aqaba. We have Gulf of Suez. We have Sinai Peninsula. Okay, so this is Sinai Peninsula. Okay, Peninsula, Sinai Peninsula. So what is Peninsula? Peninsula is a kind of land mass which is surrounded by water bodies from 3 sides. Okay, it is known as peninsula. Okay, surrounded by water bodies from 3 sides, and Gulf is opposite of it. Gulf is a water body which is surrounded by land masses from 3 sides. Okay, peninsula and Gulf are opposite to one another. So here, this Red Sea is important because in UPSC prelims exam they do ask questions related to mapping. So that's why we have thought of including a topic. So Red Sea is surrounded by several countries in the Middle East and Northeast Africa. Okay, so these countries are Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, Djibouti, Saudi Arabia and Yemen. So these 6 countries, their name is very important. You should remember name of these countries. Okay, yes. So they are surrounding border with Red Sea. Now this is the first topic that we are going to discuss. This topic is very important. Here we are going to understand about Hoysala temples. We will discuss about Hoysala dynasty. We will discuss about the UNESCO World Heritage Site also, UNESCO World Heritage Tag. Okay, so this is the first topic. It says 3 Hoysala temples declared World Heritage Sites. Okay, 3 Hoysala temples were declared as World Heritage Sites. So which temples have been declared as World Heritage Sites? These temples are mentioned over here. One of the temple is known as Hoysaleswara temple, which is in Halebeedu. Okay, other is known as this Chennakeshwara temple. This is also in Halebeedu. Okay, so the 2 of the temples is in Halebeedu. Okay, and the third temple is known as Keshava temple in Somnathpur. Okay, in Mysuru district. Okay, so the earlier 2 temples are in Halebeedu in Hassan district of Karnataka, and this one is in Keshava temple is in Somnathpur in Mysuru district. So all these 3 temples have been together categorized as UNESCO World Heritage Site. Okay, they have been categorized as UNESCO World Heritage Site. And for their representation in the UNESCO World Heritage Site, the central government of India has sent a proposal in the year of 2022-23 itself. Okay, so this year they have included it. And so the Archaeological Survey of India, which is, let's say, the largest body that protects monuments, temples, old structures in India. So that organization has praised that these temples are now going to receive international attention. Okay, they are going to receive international attention, and people are going to visit over there to understand about the significance of these temples. Now if I talk about this Hoysala temple, so these Hoysala temples are part of a dynasty. Okay, so let's understand that topic quickly. Name of the topic we are understanding is Hoysala temples. Okay, we are understanding about Hoysala temples. So there was a dynasty which is known as Hoysala dynasty. Okay, Hoysala dynasty. So this particular dynasty ruled in southern portion of India from 10th century to 14th century. Okay, 10th to 14th century. And there were many rulers. There were many rulers who were prominent at this particular location. Okay, many rulers were prominent in the Hoysala like dynasty. So I have written some names of those rulers who are associated with the Hoysala dynasty. One of the king is known as King Nripa Kama. Okay, one of the king is known as King Nripa Kama. So this king is, known for the expansion of the Hoysala dynasty. Okay, he has expanded the Hoysala dynasty in the 10th century. Okay, 10th century AD. Okay, so they are part of medieval Indian temples. Okay, or like medieval Indian time period or dynasty. And apart from this, there are some more kings who are associated with Hoysala dynasty. What are their names? One of the king's name is Vishnuvardhan. Okay, one of the king's name is, so I'll mention their name. One of the king's name is Vishnuvardhan. Vishnuvardhan. So Vishnuvardhan has ruled from 1108 to 1220. 1108 to 1220 AD. Okay, he has ruled during this time. And what he has done, he has, let's say, transferred the capital of the Hoysala dynasty from Belur to like Halebidu. Okay, so what he has done, he has transferred the capital. Okay, transferred the capital from, right, from which place? Earlier it was in Belur, then he has transferred it to Halebidu. They are located in Karnataka. So Vishnuvardhan is one of the important kings of the Hoysala dynasty. Apart from this, we have like Bolala II. So name of the king is Bolala II, and he ruled from 1173 to 1220. 1173 to 1220 in different parts of this dynasty. So he was an acclaimed military, let's say like general also, and he had patronized. Okay, so like he was acclaimed military general. He was known for his military tactics. I mean, like and also what he has done, he has patronized temple construction in Hoysala. Okay, then we have another king in this dynasty. I am going to mention about his name also. These kings are sometimes important. If you can remember, it's going to be important for the prelims exam. Okay, so this is Narsimha I. Okay, another king is Narsimha I, and he he ruled from 1152 to 1733. 1152 to 1173. And he has also led to construction of temples. Okay, so construction of temples in the Hoysala dynasty. So these are prominent people from the Hoysala dynasty. So it is important for us to know about it. Okay, so now presently, like earlier we have discussed that one of the place was given UNESCO World Heritage Tag. That was Santi Niketan from West Bengal. So that was the 41st. This is the 42nd UNESCO World Heritage Site in India. So all these three are clubbed together and they became 42nd UNESCO World Heritage Site in India. Okay, so that's the thing. So with this we have a question. It says, right, which of the following, with reference to Hoysala temples, consider the following statements. So this is a question from art and culture section. We will quickly see this question. It says the shrines of the temples are characterized by hyper-real structures and stone carvings that cover the entire architectural surface. Okay. Second, its architecture is being developed under the rule of the being developed. I mean, like the language is little. I mean, like it architecture was being developed under the rule of the Chola Empire. That could have been the statement. Okay, so like mind this thing. So we need to identify which of these statements are correct. So like correct answer is option A, because only statement 1 is correct. Second statement is incorrect, because like its architecture was being developed under Hoysala kings itself. So like we have mentioned about Vishnuvardhan, Bulala 2 and Narsimha 1. So Bulala 2 and Narsimha 1, they are associated with temple construction. Okay, like that in that thing. So only one will be right, and we have given explanation to this question. Okay, so explanation is given over here. You can go through it. So we can see like how delicate, I mean like architecture they have made.
So what type of architecture do they follow?
Dravida style of this temple construction. Then we have, let's say, another topic. This topic is simultaneous polls. Do states have a say? Okay, this topic is important. So in this article we are going to understand about one nation, one election concept. Okay, the concept related to one nation, one election. So the idea of having one nation, one election is prominent nowadays. I mean like this idea is being, what we say, like being forwarded by the ruling government.
Yes.
So this topic is important. Name of the topic is simultaneous polls. Do states have a say? Okay. Name of the topic is simultaneous polls. Do states have a say? Have a say. So let's understand about simultaneous polls. So first of all, we need to understand what do we mean by simultaneous polls or simultaneous elections. Okay. This simultaneous elections, the concept of simultaneous election is also equated with the idea of one nation, one election. Okay, idea of one nation, one election. So we need to understand what is simultaneous polls. Means under one nation, one election concept, we want to conduct what? The Lok Sabha elections and state legislative assembly elections. Okay, state legislative or state assembly elections. Okay, we want to conduct both the elections, okay, simultaneously. So this is the concept of one nation, one election. This is the concept of simultaneous elections. We want to conduct it. However, is it feasible? Is it constitutionally allowed? So we need to see it, right? So when the Constitution of India was enacted at that point of time, after then we have also enacted the Representation of Peoples Act. And after then the first general election that happened, that time we have conducted the election for the central government, Lok Sabha election, and we have also conducted election for the state governments. So that was the beginning of simultaneous election. So that way election have been conducted from 1951 till let's say like 1967. So we have conducted elections in this mode for 10 to 15 years. However, after then let's say like constitutional machinery broke down in the state of Kerala, and that led to, let's say, like, conducting by-elections or conducting, let's say, elections for the state of Kerala. And there have been other instances also where, like, let's say, like, governors' rule have been imposed, and like they have implemented, they have conducted elections at a different point of time. And slowly and gradually, as we passed, right, as we, let's say, like, as the the country progressed, so we have started conducting elections at different point of time for different state legislatures, and we conduct the Lok Sabha elections at a different time after 5 years of time period. But now the central government is again mooting the idea that can we have the one, the election in the country in this mode, one nation, one election. Now this question revolves around some technical difficulties, whether like it is desired or it is not desired. So why it is desired, we have discussed in our previous cases, right? So one of the issue is like why they want to conduct it. So why is it desired or why is it needed, right? So for that, one of the reason is they want to reduce the election expenditure, okay? They want to reduce the election expenditure. That was one of the reason that they want to do it. Second issue that they have given, that for focusing more on governance. I mean, if we conduct elections in one go, after then all the state parties and the centrally elected parties, so they will be able to focus on governance, okay? So to focus more on governance, right? To focus more on governance, because we will come out of this regular election process. So these are the two ideas with which they want to conduct simultaneous elections. But what are the challenges? What are the challenges that are associated with it? So those challenges have been mentioned in this article. In this article they have mentioned that why there is a challenge. And for that purpose, I mean for the purpose of conducting simultaneous election, the central government of India has created a 8-member panel, okay? It has created a panel or expert committee. That committee has 8 members, okay? So it is, they have conducted, they have created an expert committee, and this expert committee has 8 members. And these 8 members are headed by a former president of India, Mr. Ram Nath Kovind. Okay, Ram Nath Kovind. Now we need to discuss about what are the challenges associated with this article, or what are the challenges with this simultaneous election concept. One of the challenge that has been discussed in this article is it requires constitutional amendment. Okay, it requires constitutional amendment. And for doing any amendment into the constitution, there is an article that details, that talks about the, let's say, process that needs to be followed. Okay, so this article 368 has been mentioned in this article. They have mentioned about article 368, that article 368 talks about the processes that we need to follow to amend the Constitution of India. So one of the process that they have mentioned is we can amend the Constitution of India for certain provisions in a manner which is done for the let's say ordinary bills. And so this is known as they need simple majority. So there are some portion in the Constitution of India for which, if you want to amend the Constitution, it requires a simple majority. Simple majority means all the members who are present and voting in the parliament, first of all they should meet the quorum demand, and out of the people who are present, so simple majority can pass the bills from both the houses of the parliament, and after then it has to be ratified by the President of India. So in this way we can pass, let's say we can do some constitutional amendment, and the bills that require simple majority, so those things are mentioned over here. For example, what are the things that can be amended through simple majority? So they have mentioned that article 4, if we want to, let's say, amend the article 4 of the Constitution of India, talks about organization of states. So like so article 4, changes related to organization of states, so that can be amended using simple majority. They have also mentioned article 169, abolition or creation of legislative councils of state. Okay, so they have mentioned article 169. If we want to abolish or we want to create councils for the states, councils means like those states that have just one house, which is let's say state legislative assembly, they can go for another house which is known as state legislative council. So if those states, if some states want that like we also want to have a state legislative council, so in that case it will be known as bicameral state. So in India presently there are 5 to 6 states where we have bicameral legislature. We have the state legislative assembly and we have a state legislative council. And if you want to create one, if you want to create a state legislative council, or if you want to abolish the state legislative council, in that case article 369 has to be amended like that. Okay, so for that also simple majority will work. And they have also mentioned about another thing, that like para 21 clause 2 of this 6th schedule, which is related to provision for administration of tribal areas in the states of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Okay, so this is related to tribal areas. Okay, means like 6th schedule, or like if you want to amend schedule 6. Okay, schedule 6 talks about tribal areas, and these tribal areas are there in 4 states, right? Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Tripura and Mizoram. So in this article they have mentioned that the Constitution of India can be amended through three different ways. One of the way is through simple majority, and through simple majority these are the things that can be amended. So this is one thing. Apart from this, in this article itself they have mentioned about another thing. So to amend the Constitution of India we need a special majority. Okay, we need a special majority. So what do we mean by special majority? Special majority means 2/3 of the people present and voting. Okay, present and voting. Plus absolute majority in the second thing itself.
Yes, sir, yes.
So it stipulates like effected by prescribed special majority, wherein not less than 2/3 of the members are present and voting in each house of the parliament, as well as by a majority of the total membership of each house. Okay, plus majority means like absolute majority, majority of total membership of the house, total membership of the house. Means like, so it talks about a special majority wherein like to amend the Constitution of India we need, like in both the houses we have, let's say like Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Let's say if a bill is introduced in the Lok Sabha, in the Lok Sabha we need 2/3 of the let's say people who are present and voting, so they should be there, and they should also constitute let's say like absolute majority. Means like at least half of the members should be present in that day, and out of the member who are present, 2/3 of the people should be voting in favor of it. Only then it will pass through that particular house. Similarly, it has to pass through the other house, and then it has to be ratified by the President of India. So this way we can amend the Constitution of India, and this in this way we can amend, let's say, many things related to the Constitution. In this article they have mentioned that like so there are many bills, for example adherence to in this article they have mentioned that although it requires for final passing of the bill, but the House of the Parliament may also talk about that if you want to introduce a bill, that time also it is needed. So they can let's say prescribe these things. So this thing they have mentioned in this article. Apart from this, they have mentioned about another provision that requires a special majority plus ratification by at least 50% of the states. Okay, so this third is a special third way of amending the Constitution. A special majority plus ratification, okay, ratification by 50%, by at least 50% of the states. So that's the thing. And here if you want to conduct simultaneous election, this is what is required in many cases. This is what is required.
Especially in the case of
Haan.
federal structures.
So if they want to amend the federal structure of the Constitution of India, federal structure that relates to the way, for example, in the case of election of the president also. So election of the president under Article 54 and 55, okay, means like, you know, if you want to change anything related to Article 54 and 55 that talks about election of the president, in that case also it will require election of the president. In that case also it will require what? A special majority plus ratification by 50% of the states. Apart from this, in this article they have mentioned that, like, you know, if there is a change in the extent of the executive power of the union or the state government, okay, if executive power of the state or union government is to be changed under Article 73 and Article 162, in that case also this is related to executive power of the states and central government, okay, like that. So in this case also we need this thing. And also in this article they have mentioned, if there is any change in the provision regarding to the union judiciary or the high courts, like articles 124 to 147 and article 214 to 231, means if you want to make any changes in the powers of the, let's say, the Supreme Court of India or the high courts, in that case also it requires a special majority and ratification by 50% of the states. So that's the thing. And if the distribution of legislative and administrative powers between the union and states is affected, okay, means the way where the powers is distributed between the state government and the, so in that case also it requires a special majority, Article 245 to 255, okay. Or if in case of the list in the 7th schedule, for example, if they want to change anything related to let's say union list, state list or concurrent list, okay. So 7th schedule, I am just writing 7th schedule. If you want to make any changes related to 7th schedule, it will also attract this particular thing. And this information is very important for the prelims exam, because they may directly ask if they want to make any changes. For example, they want to bring something which is in the state list to the union list, okay, they want to bring that thing all together. In that case it will attract this particular thing, like, you know, there should be amendment of the constitution through a special majority by and plus ratification by 50% of the states. So in this article they have talked about, like, you know, what were the views of the of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in this case. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has, let's say, emphasized upon having this particular structure of, let's say, simple majority, special majority and a special majority plus ratification by these states. Why? Because he believed that, like, you know, if everything is changed using simple majority, in that case the federal structure of the country will not be stable. So we want to make the federal structure to be stable, and for that, like, you know, there should be some difficulty in amending the constitution. Although the Constitution of India is a living document, so it is going to, let's say, meet the demand of the time. So as the time progresses, as the nation progresses, so it should be able to, let's say, like, you know, meet the demand by molding itself. However, it is not that flexible also, okay, that's the thing. So that is what is mentioned in this article. And they have also talked about two cases. In one of the cases, Kyoto Holohan versus Jahidul, okay. So that case, I mean, Kyoto Holohan case, I mean, it is mentioned in the polity books. Yes. So I am just quickly writing about those cases. This is Kyoto Holohan versus, is it from Z or J? So this is one of the case of 1992 where the Supreme Court of India has looked into anti-defection law, okay. So it was related to anti-defection, and there the Supreme Court of India has upheld many provisions. However, it did not upheld one specific provision where the Supreme Court of India said that they need special majority, okay, plus ratification by the states, because it deals with the, I mean, like, the powers of the state, okay, powers of the state and all. So in this case, the Supreme Court of India has talked about what? Anti-defection law.
Yes.
Apart from this, there is another case which is known as Union of India versus Rajendra and Shah, okay. So Union of India versus Rajendra and Shah. This is also important, means like, there can be a question next year in mains exam from this topic itself. So they have struck down the provisions of the Constitution 97th Amendment Act, okay, and they said that, like, so it was related to establishment of cooperative societies, okay, cooperative societies. So basically the Supreme Court of India has said that, like, if you want to establish or modify something related to interstate cooperative society which is present in multiple states, or multi-state cooperative society, in that case it needs ratification by 50% of states along with the special majority, like that, okay. So this is related to that. So these are the two case laws that are related to this. And also, like, if I talk about this particular thing, what the one nation one election concept. So earlier there was a person, I mean, like, so the Law Commission of India, it was chaired by Justice B.S. Chauhan, okay. So Justice B.S. Chauhan has given a report in this matter, okay.
Yes.
So we are going to talk about that report, okay. Draft report by Justice B.S. Chauhan, okay, Justice B.S. Chauhan. And this justice has said that, like, we cannot conduct one nation one election by following the current let's say, like, current structure of the Constitution. So the current provisions don't allow us to conduct one nation one election thing, like, simultaneous thing. So he has said that simultaneous elections are not feasible within the existing framework of the Constitution, okay. It is not feasible, okay.
Yes,
so this like, so he was the chairman of the Law Commission of India, I think, right?
Yes.
So Law Commission of India, chaired by Justice B.S. Chauhan. So like so this was the, let's say, opinion of the Law Commission of India in 2018. So that's the thing. And there was another constitutional expert, P.D.T. Achari, okay. So he was Secretary General of the Lok Sabha, okay. So his name is also very important, P.D.T. Achari, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay, P.D.T. Achari. He was former Secretary General of Lok Sabha. So he has also said that, like, it is not easy to conduct simultaneous polls, and for that it requires lot of changes in the Constitution of India. It needs changes in the, let's say, like, various articles in the Constitution of India that may require, special majority and ratification by 50% of the states, like that. So this article actually explains about what are the requirements, what are the challenges of going forward for conducting simultaneous elections in India, okay. So this topic is good, I mean, like, we have dealt in detail also, and this article is really good on this topic.
So one more thing he has mentioned.
Yes.
In order to conduct the simultaneous election, we need to first dissolve the assembly.
Like there are, so he has talked about two things, that, like, one thing is, like, we need to first dissolve all the state legislative assemblies.
Yes.
And that can be done if in all these states there is, let's say, like, there is, let's say, ruling party is of the central government, but, like, it is not the case. So they will be able to dissolve wherever they have the BJP rule thing. They will not be able to dissolve wherever they do not have BJP ruled states. And so this is one challenge. Second challenge is, like, asking voluntarily that, like, other states to give up, but they will not be giving up. So, like, they have mentioned, he has mentioned this thing also.
And sir, this person, P.D.T. Acharya, sir, he has written an article few days back in the Hindu.
Right, yeah,
The same argument he has put forward here also.
right. So that's the thing, I mean, like, so we have gone through that article also.
Yes.
So we have a question over here, quickly we will look into this question. It says, what do you mean by one nation, one election? mention the benefits and challenges in implementing the one nation, one election, idea of one nation and one election in India. So this article is very helpful for you to mention the challenges that are there in implementing this thing. Okay, so after reading this article, you can write an answer to this question. So we have then another topic, the mantras that powered success of the G20 summit. So this article has been written by an expert of international law or international relation, Ms. Suhasini Haidar. Okay, so she is an expert in international relations, and she has talked about, like, what has, let's say, enabled India in its success in the G20 summit. So in the G20 there were multiple groups. Okay, so, like, we are going to mention about those groups quickly. I'm just quickly writing about G20. So she says that success in G20 is related to many things. Okay, success in G20 presidency, during India's presidency, it is related to many things. One thing is, like, G20 is, it has members from different regions of the world. One part is, let's say, like, Western countries. Okay, Western countries. That has, let's say, G7, plus it has many other Western countries that are, let's say, that represent one sort of idea.
Yes.
Then other kind of countries are, let's say, like, for example, China and Russia. So they showcase another kind of, let's say, power dynamics here. Then there are other sorts of countries like, India, Brazil and all. Saudi Arabia, etc. So these are those countries that are non-aligned, okay, that are non-aligned to any sort of power, any side of power.
So Saudi Arabia also.
Saudi Arabia is also, yeah. So maybe in this article they have mentioned, what I remember. So there are three kind of countries. One is Western countries. They have, like, they want to take a stand against Russia in the G20 summit. And there was another sort of countries, China and Russia. So they say, like, there should not be anything against Russia. Then India, Brazil and these countries, like, who are not aligned to Western, or let's say, like, these countries. So, like, we wanted to bring consensus among them so that, like, we can achieve New Delhi Leaders Declaration. Okay. So we have seen that New Delhi Leader Declaration was achieved. I mean, like, we have New Delhi Leaders Declaration. Okay, Leaders Declaration. So we have been able to achieve a consensus in this particular document. How? So question arises, how? So we have been able to achieve this particular thing by giving these member countries in the beginning, before they arrived. So we have given them an option that either you accept the proposal or you don't accept. If you don't accept, so people are going to consider that G20 grouping or G20 is not a functional grouping. Means, like, the basis of the G20 will be questioned if you don't allow this thing to happen. I mean, like, if you don't allow any consensus. So all those countries who are participating, so they want that G20 should survive, right? So that's why, I mean, like, they have said, like, we want the G20 to survive, but the thing is, like, we want some changes in the document. Okay, so slowly and gradually we have accepted the things. And in the New Delhi Leaders Declaration, there was only one paragraph that mentions Russia, that too in good light, that, like, how do you bring, let's say, peace in Ukraine. Okay, like that. I mean, like, they have not talked about, yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, like, so they have said that, like, since, and also, like, the G7 is now headed by Japan.
Yes.
And, like, the Prime Minister of India has visited Japan also. The Japanese Prime Minister has visited India. So we have, let's say, good ties. So, like, we were able to, let's say, influence the G7 through Japan. And if I talk about, like, other countries, so this ASEAN grouping is headed by Indonesia. Indonesia is also a member of G20. And there are many other countries, let's say, like, so we have been able to persuade Indonesia also. Although Russia and China were not present, but since they were not present, so it was easier to get a consensus here. I mean, like, it did not act as hurdle That's the thing. So she has mentioned that India has played great diplomacy over here, and like we have been able to achieve consensus. And also she has talked about that, like, this particular summit has also showcased the, let's say, like, global South's thing. So like the Prime Minister of India has talked about the issue of global South in this thing. In this article she has mentioned about global South also. So basically there are different kind of countries. For example, the United States, like, after, in this article they have talked about the peace or let's say post Cold War era. Okay, post Cold War era. So what has happened during post Cold War era? One thing that has happened, that United States of America, they wanted a unilateral world. What? They wanted a unilateral world where United States of America rules the world, it dictates the terms of global governance. Then second thing is the China has thought of making the world as bipolar world. That, like, to the west US can rule, but to the east, like, we will be the single largest country that's going to do this thing. And there, like, India along with many other countries, so we wanted a multipolar world. Okay, we were in favor of multipolar world. So that's the thing. In this article she has mentioned about these things. However, in this article she has talked about the mantras that powered G20 summit. So that's the thing. Okay, so like we will not go into much deep into it, but we just wanted to understand the concepts related to this. So we'll take another topic quickly. This topic is again important. It says government introduces women's quota bill in Lok Sabha. PM calls for a consensus. Okay, PM calls for a consensus. Now, recently the parliament building has been shifted. I mean, earlier they were functioning from old parliament building. Now they have created a new parliament building and they have assembled over there. And there in the first sitting, the Prime Minister of India, I mean like his party, right, has introduced a bill that proposes the quota for women's in the parliament and in state legislatures. So according to that quota, there will be 33% reservation. Okay, there will be 33% of reservation for women in parliament and state legislature. And especially they have talked about women from two categories. One of the category is women from, let's say, like, SC community and ST community. They have not included the OBC community. Not only women, I mean, like, there also there was further subcategorization. And this is the point of opposition. So, like, opposition members are saying that, like, although you have included this thing, women's reservation, which is a, let's say, like, a plausible move. However, like, this should not have been the case. Okay, so this is where. So in this article they have said that, like, this is the Constitution 128th Amendment Bill 2023. Okay, so this is related to giving quota for the women's. And although if it gets passed in the current session, they will be implemented in 2026, I think. After delimitation, 28 or 29. So they will be implemented then. It is not going to be implemented now. However, this is a good move. Okay, so they have just introduced this bill. This is known as Women's Reservation Bill. Okay, so Women's Reservation Bill. Yeah, they have mentioned about that Hindi name also in this article itself. So this is, I'll mention that name. Yeah, Nari Shakti, Bandhan Adhiniyam. Okay, Nari Shakti Bandhan Adhiniyam means, like, yeah, Indianized name. So that's all right. So in this article, this is all. So with this, we will move to another topic quickly. This topic is again important. It says Azerbaijan launches operation in Karabakh, vows to fight until the end. So we have earlier discussed, like, 3-4 days back, we have discussed about conflict related to Armenia and Azerbaijan. So these are the two countries that are conflicting with one another related to a disputed territory. That disputed territory is known as Nagorno-Karabakh region. Okay, what is the name of the disputed territory? It is known as Nagorno-Karabakh region. That day we have discussed about it, however, like this is in news now. So that's the thing, Nagorno Karabakh region. So we are going to see where is this region and what is the conflict all about in this region. So again we have this map. So this is Azerbaijan and this is Armenia. Although this particular territory comes inside the land border of Azerbaijan, however this is a disputed territory because here people who are residing, so they are ethnically Armenian, okay, they are ethnically Armenian. So Armenia thinks that like this region should belong to them. Azerbaijan thinks that this region should belong to them. Although this region is autonomously functioning, but the thing is like these two countries are doing, let's say, one or other thing here, and like that's why peace is not there. And there is an international grouping that is known as Minsk group, okay, the Minsk group, like for the it is also known as Organization for peace in the Europe. So this group has around 57 member countries. It has, let's say, Russia, it has United States of America, and also I think France. So they three party, they co-chair this particular grouping, and this grouping, this organization for, let's say, peace in the Europe, right? So this organization actually has brokered a kind of peace deal here, okay, although that deal is not, let's say, like it did not finally, it was not conclusive, however, like this has erupted once again. So this is the thing, and this group is very important, this Minsk group, and this region is important. It is important for the, let's say, like UPSC prelims exam especially, right? So this Azerbaijan and Armenia, I mean, like Nagorno Karabakh region, the conflict is between these two countries, okay? So this is Azerbaijan, this is Armenia, and this is Caspian Sea, okay? So that is Caspian Sea. So we have discussed about Caspian Sea also, right?
Yes, sir.
Earlier, yesterday I think we have discussed about it. Today we discussed about Red Sea, and these are Central Asian countries that we have discussed earlier. So Central Asian countries, how many countries are there? 5 countries. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. So they are together known as Central Asian countries, right? So that's the thing. And like this, to the west of Central Asian countries we have Caspian Sea, and to the west of it we have Azerbaijan and Armenia. So that's important. So with this we will take another topic quickly. This topic is again important. It says Aditya L1 heads towards Lagrange point 1, okay? So Aditya L1 is the only and first solar mission of India. So it is a solar observatory mission. So under this mission we want to study the sun, we want to study the, let's say, rays that are emitted by sun. So this Aditya L1 mission has been launched by Indian Space Research Organization in 2nd of September. On 2nd of September we have launched, and after then let's say, like this Aditya L1 has 7 scientific payloads. Scientific payloads means instruments, different kind of 7 instruments that are going to do one or other activity for the mission, okay, to study the sun. So let's say this is Earth, this is sun, and let's say this is L1 point, Aditya L1, okay. So this is known as Lagrange point 1. This spacecraft will be sent over here, okay, this spacecraft will be sent over here, and this spacecraft is going to, let's say, like revolve around this L1 point in a orbit which is known as halo orbit, okay. It is going to revolve around there, which is known as halo orbit, and this particular point is, let's say, like 1.5 million kilometer away, means it is 15 lakh kilometer away from Earth, and this particular distance is 1% of the sun's distance, and this distance is around 4 times the distance that that, let's say, Earth has with the moon, okay. So let's say this is moon, whatever distance this is, let's say d, so this distance is 4d, if that is d, it is 4d, so 4 times distance, like that. So we have launched this mission, and after then we have done some maneuvers to raise its orbit, to make this orbit, let's say, more elliptical. Let's say earlier this was the orbit, then like we make this orbit like this, then we made this orbit like this, then we made this orbit. So we are making this orbit elliptical, and on this 19th of September, yesterday, what they have done one more thing which is known as trans-Lagrangian. Okay, so they have just done trans-Lagrangian insertion. So we have inserted this particular thing. Let's say these are the orbits. We have inserted this thing in trans-Lagrangian orbit. So it is now for 110 days it is going to travel towards the Lagrange point 1. During that time we are going to keep all the systems shut down and it's going to go over there slowly. Once it reaches, then we are going to restart the systems. Then we will make it orbit around the L1 point, halo orbit. Okay, that's the thing. So in this article they have mentioned, they have given it because on 19th September, yesterday, we have done another kind of orbit raising maneuver. So earlier multiple orbit raising maneuvers have been performed, right, in Aditya L1. So this is an important mission of Earth, okay, of Indian Space Research Organization. So we want to study what? The sun. We want to study the, let's say, various components of sun. So for this we need to understand about the structure of the sun, right? What is the core of the sun? What are different regions? What is convection region? What is, let's say, radiation region? Yeah. What is, let's say, corona of the sun? So we need to understand all of it. Yes, good evening Ashish, thank you so much for joining. Actually we could start today's discussion little late because of, let's say, technical difficulties. We have been waiting to get it resolved. However, it was resolved. Now this is another topic. Quickly we will look into this topic. This is important. It says Center floats, okay, Center floats new science awards. Earlier, let's say, science related awards were given by different ministries of the government of India, and there used to be more than 100 of such awards. But this time the government of India has decided that they are going to, let's say, categorize these awards, and they have reduced the number of such awards. So now effectively we have around 56 awards, okay, 56 scientific awards. So that's the thing. And these awards, I mean, they have named these awards, let's say, in a different manner. So I will mention about these awards one by one, and I will open the page as well, so that that becomes little clear to understand what is this. So we are going to study about scientific awards, right? Scientific awards. So they have named these awards. These awards are known as Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar. Okay, these awards are together known as Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, and they have categorized these awards into three groups. Okay, basically three groups. One of the group of award is known as Vigyan Ratna. Okay, one of the group is known as Vigyan Ratna Award. So there will be three Vigyan Ratna awards. Second is, they have said, Vigyan Shri. Okay, Vigyan Shri. There will be 25 Vigyan Shri awards. Then we have Vigyan Yuva. No, that's Vigyan Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar. I mean, so Vigyan Yuva, there will be 25 such awards. Okay, these are the things. And apart from this, there is already an existing award which is known as Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award.
So I think this Vigyan Yuva is along with Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar. And because they use hyphen there.
Yeah. So basically, they will give three such awards, 25, 25, 3 and 3 Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar awards. 56 in all.
It is separate.
Yeah, maybe. So they have mentioned it this way. Okay, they have mentioned it this way. So these are the awards that they are going to give. Okay, these Vigyan Ratna, Vigyan Shri, Vigyan Yuva. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar award already exists. And this year, I mean, they have decided to give these awards on 11th of May. I mean, like, last moment. So these awards will be given on 2 different days, and these days are important for us to remember. One of the day is 11th of May. This day is known as National Technology Day, and this is also important to understand about it. Okay, National Technology Day. So what is this National Technology Day? National Technology Day is that day when we have conducted what? When we have conducted the the nuclear test. Okay, so this is the day on which we have conducted a nuclear test in India. Okay, so this day, I mean, like, we have conducted second nuclear test in India. We have conducted second nuclear test in India. So that day is celebrated as National Technology Day. Apart from this, 23rd August, okay, 23rd August is also important. This day we have made a soft landing on the south pole of the moon. Okay, soft landing. The Chandrayaan 3 mission has done a soft landing on the south pole of the moon. So this day is important, and this day will be celebrated as National Space Day. Okay, National Space Day. National Space Day. So on 11th May they will declare that who are going to receive the prize, and actually the awards will be given on National Space Day. So this is what they have mentioned in this article. So it is important. Okay, however, there is little less clarity in the article about Vigyan Ratna, Vigyan Shri, Vigyan Yuva and Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award is already existing. It is also known as Indian Noble. Okay, Indian Noble. We have earlier discussed about it. Then we have another topic. This topic is important. It says, with reference to Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, right? Consider the following statements. So they have given these awards will not include any cash component but a certificate and medallion on the awardee. Actually, this is the thing. Earlier they were giving, let's say, like, prize also, but now they are not going to give. Then facilitation of all these awards will be open to the persons of Indian origins. Not all the awards, some of the awards, I mean, they will be persons of Indian origins are also included. There is no limit for the prizes awarded. So there is a limit for the Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar Award. Okay, there is a limit for this particular thing, and the upper age limited for 45 years. For other kind of awards, there is no age limit. Then Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar, they have said, na, like this. Then a committee will be constituted every year comprising the president and secretaries of 6 science ministries to recommend names of the award from the nomination. This is also right. So we need to identify which of these statements are correct. Okay, so we will quickly see. Correct answer is option A, means only one of them is correct. So which one is correct? Let's see. 1 is correct, 2 is correct, 3 is incorrect. I mean, like, we have included explanation is 4 and 4. I think it should be correct. President committee will be comprising the president and secretaries of 6. See, president and vice president will give out the award, but like they will not be part of the committee who is going to look into all these affairs. That's the thing. Okay, so this is the thing. So the age limit is there for this particular thing. What? The second category of award. Age limit is there for second category of award. Sorry. Age limit is there for this. So all these awards will not be given to PIOs. Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar is not given, right? I mean, like, some of the award will be given, but one of them will be given, like that. In the article they have mentioned, these awards will not include any cost component but certificate of medallion. This is related to the Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar. And this one, why it is wrong? A committee will be constituted. The President of India or Vice President of India will give the award, but like they are not going to decide the thing. So there will be ministries also. So we need to read this article once again, and there, like, the explanation is mentioned. Then last topic is related to this one. It says France and Germany backed European Union enlargement proposal. So European Union will have, like currently has 27 member countries. Okay, it has 27 member countries. I was thinking it had 28, but like it has 27 in this article. You was thinking 26? Okay. But now they have proposed, these two countries, they are the largest countries in the European Union. They have proposed that they are going to extend the membership, okay, of the European Union, okay. So in that matter, I mean, like, you know, they are going to constitute a committee who is going to look into these affairs. So in this article, they have mentioned about futuristic thing, that, like, you know, there needs to be a voting, then it needs to be consensus among the members, and those countries that will be included, will they be given the full membership of European Union. So in the European Union, they have, let's say, a Schengen area, which is considered to be the core area. Then there is, let's say, like, you know, Eurozone, okay. So so they have Eurozone, Schengen area, and then they have, let's say, like, you know, associate members who participate in the single market and adhere to the common principles, okay. So this is also to be decided, okay. So Schengen area is important. We have seen these things in, let's say, previously, right. I mean, like, you know, during reading of economy, so we have discussed all these things earlier also. So thank you so much. So Rutu Mane has also joined. Vigyan Shanti Swarup Bhatnagar 25, yes, Vigyan Team Award. National Technology Day 11th May, National Space Day 23rd August, no cash component, only certificate or medal. PIO, but Vigyan Team Awards, they will not be eligible, right? Yeah, so Vigyan Team Awards means like it will be given for at least 3 people. So if 3 people or more than 3 scientists, they have worked on something and they have achieved something, so they will be given Vigyan Team Award. So she has mentioned it right. We have read it today, but, like, you know, after reading we tend to forget as well. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much everyone for joining today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.